Good morning. Hi, everyone. This is so exciting and nerve-wracking as well because I've been doing this for 11 and a half years, and this is my first ever time speaking, in front of anyone beside my Zoom meetings that I used to have. So I'm excited. Bear with me, I guess, as it's my first time, but I'm excited because I love to talk. So we'll go through a couple slides. Honestly, they're there to keep me on track, and just hopefully get you excited and motivated because I know it's a wild world out there of real estate. So here I am. I'm from the quick 30 seconds. I was born and raised in the Ottawa Valley. I'm a country girl. I spent 10 years in the city of Ottawa, 10 years in the city of Toronto, and I've been out in Prince Edward County, back in the country because every country girl has to get back to her roots. And as well, I follow real estate trends. So 11 years ago, I was working for the Drake Hotel Corporation for a long time, and I followed trends. So I came out here, put my business here, and I've been here ever since. That said, it's a tourist destination. So we certainly feel the ebbs and flows, and the highs and lows, possibly a bit more than a city because we have busy years and slow years. So I'm just going to chat, I guess, a little bit, and then that's it. Well, we'll be done. So here's me. If you want to find me, there's my email and my Instagram. I love followers. I love the social media, of course. And lightning bolts are my thing. I have one tattooed on my finger, not to offend you. It is my middle finger. It's just for those moments. It's just for those moments. All right. Now I don't know how to change my slides. That's so this is my first slide, and I wanted to preface that I was not told or asked anything. They sort of asked me to jump on here today and talk about production and how to get going in a hard market. I was with a bricks and mortar for the past 11 years. And in September or so, I made a really big decision to change over to EXP. So if you want to grow your business, my personal opinion already after only a few months is, if you're not currently with the XP, that is, of course, is leave that bricks and mortar and get over to our world. Collaboration is such a huge part of my soul. I love humans more than I love doing real estate. I'll be honest. I'm a people person. I was a bartender for 20 years. So it's, talking back and forth is how I do it. And so that's what brought me here is I was so tired of not collaborating because for me that is just the key to our success. So we convince our clients to invest in themselves, so why wouldn't we? So that was my first advice. My first advice is jump over to EXP. I have been extremely busy since September. Since I joined, it felt like it just gave me some kind of momentum boost. And here we go, So that was my first slide. Next one is mindset. Mindset equals momentum. I think this is super important. And I will preface that everything I talk about today is I am still working on every single day of my life. You chuckle a little when someone asks you to put this stuff together, and then you sort of realize, oh boy, am I doing all of these things myself, right? My wife is a meditation teacher. We have a wellness center here on our property. So mindset for me is a huge one. An agent, just some key things here. An agent who believes no one is buying right now will stop making calls. Another agent will decide someone out there does need to buy or sell. I just have to find them. So that mindset shift right there, is essentially going to push that other agent forward, and you're just going to be sitting there going, well, no one's buying right now, while they, take your clients. During a slow market, which I know that we've all felt, I don't know where you're all coming in from, but I'm in a rural community. As I said, the ups and downs are wild, but during a slow market, one agent cancels open houses because no one's coming. And trust me, out here, when there's 40 minutes between some of the houses, you do open houses and no one comes, but you continually just keep pushing them. Host another one, do more video walkthroughs, tag more businesses, and just keep your mindset positive and know that if you show up at that house every day and put that sign out, that people are going to show up. That small shift in your mindset, turns downturn into momentum. So what else do I have here? A listing sits for 60 days. One agent blames the market. Oh, I hear so much of that. Well, when I was in bricks and mortar, we would sit around and we would just blame the market. Let's just blame the market all day long. Instead, I realized, how about we just stop blaming, the market and reshoot, rewrite your copy. I mean, things get stale. We have an average out here that would just blow your mind of 150 some days. Like, so some of us our homes can sit for 200 days. It's the real reality of a tourist destination. So you just have to, keep reinventing it instead of just sort of sitting around the office and yeah, and blaming, the market. Because in a down market, you can still end up, you still end in that top 2%. So mindset keeps the listing alive, and that energy often sparks the buyer who is sitting on the fence, which is also true because there's this year has just been fence sitters, and you just gotta keep at them. Uh, momentum comes from refusing to slow down. Uh, I am a pretty hyper ADD, so it's hard for me to slow down. And so even in the hard moments, you just have to find it and keep going. And how I do that is my next slide. So for me, this is my biggest takeaway or what have you is community and collaboration are your currency. I honestly believe this. This is the community you live in as well as your realtor community. You have to get out in your community and with your colleagues. We host a lot of agent open houses. There's a certain crew that show up and there's a certain crew that don't. And the ones that don't then host agent open houses and wonder, why is no one coming to my agent open house? Because there's that respect thing. You got to get out there, be in community with your colleagues. You don't build your real estate career by sitting behind this and coming up with ideas to do Instagram videos. You sit behind that for too long, and well, we all know you just start getting brain rot. So walk into your town, go into your cafes, your farmers markets. I do this almost daily. I live in a small town, so it is a bit easier. We have 4,000 in Picton, and then from there, there's much smaller villages of 1,500. But I spent the last 11 years walking into every single business in this community and actually having conversations, not just I'm here and can I do a social media reel that shows your cafe? And then they post it and then that's sort of it. When I walk into literally every store and in this town, it's like, hi, Erin, how are you? Hi, Jim. Hi, Cindy. That I know it's a bit harder in a large city, but even when I was in Toronto in my little Queen West area, I knew everyone in that community. I just really think that your community is what's going to give you the power to move forward. Because then they remember you, first of all, right? This is your referral network. And for me, I'm 100% referral based out here. I rely on my community to bring me clients. That is where most 98% of my folks come from, as well as other realtors, which is always lovely, right? Don't just post about your community, become a part of its heartbeat. That's my favorite line. I am literally a part of the heartbeat of this community. The folks here think it's funny and call me the gayer because I am queer. I'm a queer woman. And instead of being the mayor, they call me the gayer of Prince Edward County. Thought I'd make you laugh with that one. Because everywhere I go, it's like you're trying to have dinner, you're trying to have a meeting, and then there goes the gayer. She's off talking to 55 people for 3 hours, and I'm holding up my whole dinner party. But that for me is just what leads to my success because they know they trust me, right? They see my face every day and they trust me, so they call me they want to hire real humans. So that leads to my next one. It's not just your community, it's your colleagues. This one I want to work on in future talks, and I got to figure out how to get this really out there. But what I found or find is that there's just not enough realtors working together, getting in the way, getting in the way of each other. And it's wild. Also, I'm so excited to be with EXP because what I'm seeing is that everything, they're sort of putting out there is like exactly what I say. Leave your ego at the door. Let's leave your ego at the door. Let's work together. So here in this community, I have co-listings with other brokerages. Don't love to do that all the time, but that right there just shows, already the community that you can work together. You guys, oh, wow, two offices working together, because it's a small town, it's hard to know who to hire sometimes. We all are friends with five realtors. But leaving your ego at the door, when you cooperate with other agents, deals go so much smoother. Clients are happier, everyone wins. And collaboration isn't weakness, it's professionalism. Um, I have three of the top realtors out here who just they call me specifically and say, like, Erin, I can't do this. Can you help me out with it? They're not even in my brokerage. I got three referrals from the city, and none of them were from EXP this month. And that's because I really work on my relationships with all the realtors. I show up at all their open houses, and I just treat them as I'd like to be treated during every transaction because I just don't understand getting in the way. We're just here to put two humans together and make the magic happen. So I think that there's a lot more there, but I think that a lot more of us need to really look at what that is. Why we have to get emotional when on a sign back, because it's not about us. None of this is about us in my mind. We're just here to get the job done. So I find that professionalism with all the other colleagues in my community has worked so well for me. Like I said, getting calls from Chestnut Park for referrals because they couldn't find an agent at Chestnut Park here that they could work with. That to me is unbelievable. And I just think there needs to be more of that. I think we just need to work together. Respect and teamwork raise the bar for everyone in your market. Your reputation with other agents is a part of your brand. It's a huge part of my brand. All the realtors here know. That there's just respect, within us. So community, big one, huge one. Um, so moving into the next, sort of similarly, visibility creates validity. As you know, it's hard. We got to stay out there. So in real estate, people trust who they see. That's what I'm sort of talking about. When you're out in community, the more they see your face and the listings and the signs and the reels and the posts and the conversation, the more legitimate you appear, and then you become the go-to agent in your area. Visibility isn't vanity; it's proof of presence, and presence builds perceived expertise, which leads to trust. So, that really just blends in from getting out, being seen. I have bins, I have recycle bins. The kids all see it. They put mustaches on it. And this week we all got spammed with googly eyes on all of our like little bus stop bins and that. And hey, that's all right. My new EXP bin is going up today, so it was kind of funny because it was my bin from my other office that was had the googly eyes put on it, so it was kind of a funny moment, even though I loved them. But social media, going into that, of course, we all know that you have to be doing it. If I hear one more, if I lost a listing a few weeks ago because he told them that marketing wasn't important, and social media was not important, and I lost the listing. I couldn't believe it. I put together a massive package for them, and there it sits, on the MLS, with no one knowing it's there. But if you post market updates, new listings, community highlights regularly, people again will see your name, recognize you. Even if they haven't met you, they feel like they know you. And that I can attest to. In this small town 2 days ago, a woman walked up in the grocery store and she just went, I know you. And it happens once a week. I know you don't know me, but I know you. And I said, oh, hi. Well, and she's like, you're that realtor. I said, I am that realtor. And that was it, just wanted to walk by and say that. And that literally happens to me once a week because I am just consistently getting up and getting my face out there. On the hardest days that I have, I just go for a walk in my community. And we all have those days. You got to shift your mindset. So going for a walk, it's healthy. Getting out to your community, healthy. And then that is going to just bring you in more business. Because it's not all about the posts. I want the social media. I also want more, posts to just be true and authentic. Make sure, as I said, those people in your community before you start doing like a whole reel about them, because then you want to be authentic. Is that is my number one, authenticity. As you can see, I wore my camo for you because I'm a country girl. I can only be authentic because I believe that is as long as you are authentic, you are going to bring business tenfold. And then community involvement. Of course, we all know this. None of these things I'm telling you today are like, oh, wow, like Erin, this is mind-blowing stuff. But I find you have to get back to basics. My parents were realtor. My dad was a broker. My mom was a secretary in the 80s. It was so hot, like Century 21. So all the gold skirt and the jacket, all that stuff. But community, it was huge back then. I was at the teddy bear picnic every week, and they were sponsoring things. And so I do that as well. I sponsor our couple local soccer teams in our community. So then that opened up tenfold. Then I started coaching, which is volunteer in your communities. That obviously is huge. So then I had, 24 kids on my team, 24 parents, 24 emails. Not that that was always fun, but coaching soccer. And then my name was right here, and there was my brand. So, and it was like a couple $100. I know it's an expensive career, but little pieces like that for $300 to have your name on 25 kids running around the field. And you're giving something back, because I do believe you have to give something back to your community if you want them, to reciprocate. So visibility creates validity, because people equate frequency with authority, which they do. If you show up consistently online, in person, your marketing becomes the valid choice. So I think, really that's about all I had. I think I had like another slide where it's homework, but I don't know that people ever go and do the homework. And really the homework is just that um, ch get out in community, in whatever way you need to, and have real conversations. Ask them questions about their life, their business, and what they're doing. Really try to not make it about you at all. And I do believe you will slowly just start seeing that they will then start, hey, can I have your cards and I'll just leave them in my store here? And that is big, right? Oh, and then you have someone just standing there for free. I have my cards in 7 of the shops downtown Picton, and they're like, here's my go-to agent, and they hand them out to everyone. So but it took a lot of work, it took a lot of real work getting out there. So, and I sort of lost my train of thought, I'll be honest, but get out in community, and yeah, talk to people, post real moments. I post about my family, even on my real estate page, my kids, my soccer team I sponsor. It's not just sold, but like, yay, look what I do, look what I do. I've sold a house. People want to see that you're a real human. And I also think that if don't overwhelm yourself with all of it. I have a younger realtor, and she has 2 Instagram pages, and she's like, I hate Instagram. I said, so why do you have two pages? Like, I don't even want to run one page most days, professional and personal. I said, why do you merge those? Her personality is unbelievable. So she started merging the page, with her beekeeping, and she knits, and she's a 23-year-old, 80-year-old. So she's hitting a lot of the community with these adorable little Nana videos. So that's what they want to see. I think that we all see enough, of us promoting, what we do, out there, but it needs to be real. And I just think that people are going to connect with you that way, and then you'll work with the people you want to work with. And that's a big one for me as well, is boundaries. Some advice, I suppose, as well, is you want to attract, the right people. Working with the wrong, not to say the wrong, but it's hard, it's difficult, it makes you stressful. And so I feel like if you get out in your community, they'll start attracting all the like folks. And that's what we want. So, and also boundaries of how I'm successful is that, I make sure I have really clear boundaries with my work and my life and my family. I have a wife and two teenage children. We all work 7 days a week for the most part as realtors. Um, but I make sure that I don't kill myself as well. And then that keeps me producing, because when I watch, just so overwhelmed and the anxiety starts. And then what I see is deals start sort of falling apart messily because they kind of can't keep up and they're drowning. And I don't think that we need to take on, we all want more money, yes. But I do think that there is something, with boundaries and my phone after 9 o'clock. It's really not something that I allow to be, ring and answer unless I'm in the middle of a sign back perhaps. But and I found all of these things have just kept my mental health, and my mental state really well in some of these downtimes. So, because I've been feeling them with you for sure. And I think we're on the upswing. It's been, moving since July a little bit. So I hope it's moving for some of you out there. I think the greatest thing I ever did was join EXP. And as a disclaimer, like I said, they have not asked me to say this. I've only a couple months in, and I just think that everything they're doing here is exactly what's going to help you build your business. I think that's why I felt sort of nervous talking about it. Is I'm just here with so many thousands of unbelievable minds, and I can't wait to meet all of you. I'm kind of out here. If you ever want to come out, here there's just me. No, there's a couple of us out in this area, with the XP, but we're really trying to grow it. If you're into rural real estate or farms or anything like that, give me a call. You want to come out? It's 2.5 hours from Toronto, 3 hours from Ottawa. We have white sand beaches, like
Sold.
seven of them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. It's Lake Ontario. It's still the same lake, but it's a little cleaner this way, if you will. So, white sand beaches and 52 wineries, 12 breweries, seven cideries. So, I mean, if you haven't been here, you got to definitely put it on the map for sure. So, and give me a shout if you're coming because I love being a tourist. We'll book a wine tour, and I'll show you how we do real estate here.
I think you're gonna get a lot of friend requests right now,
I
Erin.
hope so. I do hope so.
They're
I,
gonna
I mean
start
it.
trickling in right now.
I mean it. I mean it. I also have a forest here. I'm so blessed. My wife and I live on 160 acres. I know it's a bit wild to
That's
probably think about
amazing.
that. Yeah, I mean, tiny little house and big land. But we have trails. So I have maple forest right outside my door here, and I have trails through the whole property. And we have a 32-foot yurt for wellness. So I would one day like to get a lot of you guys out here into my yurt so we can start doing some real work because a lot of it is it's all up here. We got to get out of our way and then we'll be so successful, But
You could pretty much host the next EXP rally on your property with all that space you got.
oh, I certainly can and have thought of it. We thought of having a rave in the forest,
That'd be
which,
wild.
but
Quite literally.
EXP events would be amazing. So we'll
So cool.
definitely talk.
Love this idea. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, while we still have Erin with us this morning, if anyone has any comments, experiences on the same things that Erin mentioned, you can definitely unmute or any questions. We'd love to hear them. You have some comments in the chat. This was
Thank you.
amazing, Erin. Thank you so much for sharing today. Super motivating. Sounds incredible. Thank you for the offering.
I just
There
want
you go.
to,
The friend
I would
requests
like to
are
double
coming.
down on what Erin said about
There
herself,
he is.
because
There
when
he
I
is.
got my license, I signed up. I first started at the same brick and mortar that Erin was at. Um, and I did a lot of things, but my career took off because of the Jennifer Jones team willing to collaborate with me. But my very first sale was because Erin was willing to trust me with clients and collaborate with me. And now we're here, and I'm so glad that Erin's here because she really helped me get started. And it sounds like she wants to do the same for a lot of people. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, thanks, Chuck.
I love that. Thanks so much for saying that, Chuck. That's incredible.
I know, what a sweetheart. This is a good man out here. And we're both out this way. He's more north than I am, north of the highway. I'm kind of down south, but we both work in all the areas. I can go from here to Ottawa, the Ottawa Valley, because But Chuck was my sponsor, so he got me here. It was a fun role reversal. I brought, into C21 many years ago, and then I sort of mentored a bit, and then, he took off, and here is at EXP, and now he's my sponsor. So it's such a beautiful shift, and because we're still like learning and growing every day. We're still messaging every day. Well, you know what you're doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
And yet you guys are killing it. We love it. It's so great.
We're certainly trying to, we're certainly trying to. We gotta, you gotta hustle every day, but I think good things ahead for everybody, so if you need to have a talk about anything and you just want to get pumped up, like give us a shout.
Just keep manifesting that real estate Christmas. It's coming. It's on the way.
Yes. If my wife was here, who one day I hope you all will meet her, because as I said, she's a meditation teacher, she's a Reiki master, she does all of these things, but manifesting, you don't believe it until you do it. And then all of a sudden, when it happens, it's so interesting and kind of creepy, but I'm manifesting beautiful things for everyone, for 2026, and hopefully a little less of the crazy roller coaster, but just like this would be all right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So good. Erin, thank you so much for jumping on this morning. We really appreciate it. It was so much fun to listen to you, and your energy, your amazing passion definitely trickles through. And I hope it motivates everyone to get out there today and maybe do the 30-day challenge that Erin mentioned here on her last slide, and do some of those things. Get in your community, give before you get, and just be your amazing selves. And then we'll see you all next time. Have an amazing day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Erin.
Bye.